Welcome to reality show coverage of Australian Survivor Titans v Rebels, episodes 1, 2, and 3. It's premiere week in Australia, not February 5th, as initially planned, Dan Montchal. Uh, I'm Jonny Fairplay, known as Legend in Australia. They'll be seeing me shortly. We'll be talking about that shortly. I'm joined by challenge expert, Australian Survivor expert. Whoa, double billing, Dan Montchal. What's up, Dan?
Not too much. Just growing that expert title. It's feeling good.
Well, I mean, hey, would Chrissy say that you're an expert on Survivor?
Yeah, Christy loves me.
Okay, well, Chrissy is on
Talking Tribal.
Tribal, so she knows. She has the authority to call you an expert, and by proxy, I can run with that.
Well, I will take it. I'm excited to be back for another Australian Survivor season, and the first week just delivered.
Okay, so we were talking off the air. This may be, and I'm not the first to say this. This may be the best first 3 episodes, best premiere week collectively in the history of Australian Survivor. Now we were going back and forth. What about the move that the Golden God did on All Stars? I'm thinking that was episode 7, so that would not be a part of premiere week. Going back into your brain, can you think of a better 3 episodes back to back to start a season?
This is up there. I have to go back and think. When we were talking about it, Australian Survivor, we love it. It's great, but there's so many episodes, and because it's a whole premiere week of like 3, it all kind of runs together of what happened when. It's up there. I would say you brought it up. The first week of Blood versus Water was really good.
So good. I mean, because Chrissy, one of the most compelling characters we've gotten on Australian Survivor, in that there have been plenty of recruits, but I feel that those recruits, most of which by and large are AFL athletes or just so athletic in nature that they're somewhat camouflaged in their lack of game knowledge.
Yes. So Blood versus Water sticks out. I even think the first week of Brain versus Brawn was pretty good as well. Those would be the other 2 that would jump out. But
yeah, well, you had the unlikability of King George by a lot of people, and by episode 3, you're just like, do I like this guy? Better yet, do I love this guy? Like it's that is a really good story arc, but I don't feel we saw just awesomeness excluding King George.
No, we didn't. And one of the things that people really love in Survivor is, they obviously like to root for the underdog. And I feel like you got a ton of that this week of seeing the underdog win, the band of misfits, and 3 more arrogant people going into tribal council, just not seeing it coming. Not even the person that specifically goes in each episode, but from the group that they're with in 2 of the 3.
Yeah. So no, it was amazing. And like it's fun in, movies and television and sports when, the chosen ones get their just desserts. And we got that in spades the first 3 episodes.
Agreed. Yeah, it delivered. I mean, from the tribal councils, you come back to, especially coming off of, covering US Survivor, and then you see these challenges in Australian Survivor. You're like, all right, well, that's a challenge, not whatever we just saw. And as much as I did like 45, these challenges blow it out of the water.
Yeah. I mean, and truth be told, I've been having a little fun with Owen, and not so much fun with Jam on social media this morning. I'm sitting here, the new era of Survivor more than likely could not finish any of these 3 tribal challenges that we saw in the first 3 episodes. But if the tribe consists of 12 Jonny Fairplays, we're not finishing it either. Okay. So I'm throwing, I'm in a glass house and I am throwing rocks. Okay. and I admit my limitations.
Oh, you just need, I think it's his JLP says, and it's referenced a few times over the first few episodes, that mountain of muscle.
Well, if he had gotten his spam that he deserved and not the can of peaches that was thrust upon him by Mark, I think he would have been even stronger.
But yeah, I mean, that's some of, and this isn't new. We've seen it every Australian Survivor season, is some of not just men, but men and women. Like, they're just specimen of human beings that show up on this show.
Yeah. It's night and day. We do have our smaller players, our quote unquote nerd archetypes, but they're few and far between. And guess what? They're not telling us how they were bullied in school and going through PTSD of being bullied, and they were bullied, and their sad story of being bullied, and they have sad stories.
Yeah, no, you're getting because even you look at, okay, some of the ones that you'd perceive as the weaker, the underdogs. Like, you look in episode 3, that third challenge, it was for reward, and Mark blew it out of the water. Like, whoa, yeah. I didn't have him being that super fast swimmer that was getting over the net in ridiculous time on my bingo card.
Well, who's the Hobbit kid that comes through on the tug of war on episode 2?
Oh yeah. There's. I have it in. I think Charles. I don't know. I have it in my notes.
No, Charles. I believe Charles is the puzzle guy. Not a lot of airtime thus far, but once again, like, I think it's more than obvious that some of these people got picked on when they were in elementary school. Guess what? Jonny Fairplay was picked on when he was young. That's why I grew up to become a bully. That was my goal. That was my dream. So I don't go on a show and whine about being picked on. I become the picker honor.
I mean, it's clearly worked out for you. But you're right. We don't have that story. Everything that we get on Australian Survivor is when we see the intro packages, how they're sprinkled in through the episodes, and we know we'll still get plenty as the season goes on, is it's their uplifting stories.
Yeah, how great they are now. Like who cares? Like, I'm positive Eden was picked on. I didn't walk away from the Eden origin story going, oh my God, I feel so sorry for Eden. I walked away going, oh my God, this guy loves movies and TV.
Yeah, because you get it really early on. That, like, okay, he pops up and you're like, okay, he's somewhat of a, an odd guy. Yeah. But then you see him move and you're like, all right, like, there is a lot to him.
Yeah. So as I said, why the sad story over and over and over again? I mean, was Jeff Probst picked on, and we're just getting his origin story over and over again? Because if so, Jeff, shit worked out, brother. It's okay.
I'd say Jeff's doing just fine.
I think so too. He got Zach Morris's wife. God, I mean, won life's lottery. Timeout. All right. Speaking of a life lottery and things that are happening in the future and in the past and everywhere else, February 5th, I will be in Melbourne, Australia. That's right. Me and King George. That's right. My favorite survivor of all time. But I have a lot of other favorites in there, and a lot of them will be joining us for a viewing party at the Emerald Peacock Rooftop Bar that is in Melbourne, Australia. I have Chrissy, Mark, Sam, Annabelle. You might remember Annabelle from Traders Australia. Phil, and Holly. I can't remember her name. She was first boot on Heroes Villains. Shannon Gus, one of our favorite podcasters on the planet. Present company excluded, Dan. Baden, Mel, and KJ. It's going to be awesome. Guess what? Expect some current survivors there as well. Jam and Owen, I have pictures to get signed, and they're actually pretty excited to sign them. Just throwing that out there. So, but wait, there's more. If that's not enough, I will be back the next night. And oh no, we're not sticking with Melbourne. We're hitting all of Australia the next night, February 6th. I will be in Sydney at the Agincourt Hotel for a viewing party. I've got Cara, that's right, the Duchess of Double Bay will be there. Ben Law, Sarah, Sean, one of my favorites, Way, one of Matt Bischoff's favorites, Joan, and Michelle. That's right, Michelle from Blood versus Water. It's going to be awesome. That is a viewing party February 6th in Sydney. Once again, or for the first time mentioning, tickets are available at survivortix.com.au. That's survivortix.com.au. And lastly, it is not a Survivor viewing party because they decided to change the schedule and everything's different, and it is what it is, but that's okay. It's a party. That's right, Survivor party in Brisbane, February 7th at the Transcontinental Hotel. It's a party. It is VIP only. You get a poster, which everyone will sign, meet and greet with some of your favorite past survivors. This includes Simon, Jerry, Gerald. Tara will not be there. Chrissy, Jackie, and Juicy Dave. That's right. We'll all be there. There is a dress as your favorite survivor contest with a $100 prize. There is a milk drinking contest in which Gerald will be there to challenge the winner. And there's trivia throughout the evening. And you know what? I'm throwing this out here now. I'm a sucker for punishment. Hence, I've been in a Twitter war with stupid Jam and Owen this morning. So I invite things that should not be a part of my life into my life. I'm going to have a beer drinking contest against Juicy Dave.
Yes.
In the main event, Simon versus King George arm wrestling. Now, I know what you're thinking, Dan. The betting odds are on Simon, right?
From just looking at the two, granted, I haven't seen, you just see little bits and pieces on social media in recent time, so things may change. But if you're just going off of seeing them on the last season, you'd say, betting odds are definitely on Simon.
Aesthetics alone. Well, here's a peek behind the curtain, Dan. You ready? George has had 3 days to prepare for this.
Yes.
You see the scale shifting a little bit? 3.
I mean, regardless of what happens, I'm sure they're both showmen. They'll put on a show, and
yes. I feel George needs to watch Over the Top on loop going into that and learn the move.
See, what he needs to do is he needs to do that with one of Simon's snuffed hats. That way,
and turn the hat backwards.
Turn it back. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, he would love to do that. All right, we may have found Simon's kryptonite. The turning backwards of a snuffed hat. Do you think anyone in Australia has ever watched Over the Top? That was a worldwide release, right? That's not just an American. That's not just a North Carolina thing.
No, it's definitely out there.
What was his name? Hawk?
I have no idea.
I feel like his name was Hawk. He had like a hawk tattoo on his forearm or something.
It could be. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
It's been a long time since anyone has watched Over the Top, I assure you. All right. So once again, so 5th, 6th, and 7th, Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane. Come see me and King George. That's right. The legend, Jonny Fairplay. That's what they call me there. They don't call me Johnny. They don't call me Jonny Fairplay. They don't call me Fairplay. They just call me Legend. And so the legend will be hitting Australia for my second time ever. I'm very excited. And Gerald has milk. Juicy Dave has a lot of beer. It's going to be amazing. Go to survivortix.com.au. That's survivortix.com.au. All right, let's talk premiere and episodes 2 and 3, starting with the premiere.
Yeah, so the premiere, episode 1, we're back in Samoa where it all started.
That's what they say.
That is what they say. And so when it starts out, we're just getting, they're coming in on the boats. And so we have intro packages for a bunch of people. We start out, the first one we hear from is from Viola. She says she wants to be, breaking the stereotype of being more of like, oh, just a girl, which I would say she has succeeded.
Yeah, I did not look at Viola and say she's just a girl.
No.
Apparently, she's on some dog show in
Okay.
Australia. So
Okay.
this is not Australia's first look at her. So, but I don't know when Viola came up with the idea to pronounce to the world that she's not just a girl. But I feel like it wasn't 2 days prior to filming, because I feel that Viola is a physical force to be reckoned with and a social force. I love I love the alliance with her and the Russian, which I don't think makes it to the end, because I feel that we were purposely shown that they will never go against one another.
That could happen. She says
Foreboding, very foreboding.
very well could be. And yeah, she even says herself she wants to be known as Queen V. And I just have, if you look like that, you can be called whatever the hell you want to be
You
called.
Queen V, with nothing but respect and adulation, Queen V. You get the Queen V respect from me.
Absolutely. Next, we have, which is an odd choice if you're just looking at how premiere week goes, we have Charles, who's the lawyer, worked all over the world, and I just have he's wearing socks and sandals, but at least he calls himself out for it.
Yes. Yeah. Charles is there. So, and I love the dichotomy of we have the Titans on this like big vessel of a ship. And then when the rebels come in, it's just like the little pirate barges circling, and and you have Kelly making her presence felt.
She definitely does that whenever she's on the show.
Whoop whoop. Whoop 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 whoop. That doesn't get old.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, correction, it does. The third time she did it, I was like, all right, I'm done. I can only imagine living on that island.
Next for the Titans, we have Queen V, as you mentioned, her sidekick, the two V's, Valeria, who is a supermodel from Russia.
Yes. Peek behind the curtain. She's actually born with the name Valerie, but at an early age, she was bitten by a mosquito and contracted malaria, and hence became Valeria.
I feel like you made that up, but
that might not be true. And I've seen her boyfriend, who's in a cover band. I will not very, very muscular guy. I will not be saying that in Australia if she happens to be at one of the parties. So the other two, I will be saying that joke.
Just practice that material.
Yes, I feel it once I workshop it a little bit.
Oh, you're getting there. You're definitely getting there.
Thank you. Where's Wayne to laugh at my
Yes, sorry. Wayne couldn't make it this week to laugh at your jokes.
Damn it.
Over the top.
It helps.
And then the last Titan we're hearing from the intro package is Mark, who's the former diplomat, which I think was the star of week one.
Yeah.
One of the stars.
One half of the invisible hand.
Yep. Let's see. We go to the Rebels.
Oh, yeah.
The first one we hear from is Garrick, the loss prevention officer.
Not the sexiest of job titles. So going back into, I'm not a fan of the origin story going back to elementary school when you were bullied. However, I would accept a Garrett going back in time origin story of when he was safety patrol / tattletale in grade school.
We haven't gotten a lot from him. He seems different, not in a bad way or anything. He's just I don't know what to make of him yet.
Every time I see him, I think like Ric Flair, like now, like Ric Flair, like after Ric Flair's last match, like, it's just like, ugh. Or Anthony Bourdain.
I think Anthony Bourdain's a good call.
Yeah, but neither are I don't love him.
No, I don't hate him either or dislike him. I'm just still kind of waiting to see what becomes of him.
He also gives me like Bret Hart vibes. Like, he's just like, yeah, I catch people stealing stuff. I'm just like, yeah, but do you let the good looking ones go? Like, I mean, like, what? Give me something not to hate you for.
It's quite possible. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Is there, you think he potentially has a Pornhub channel? Which, so we can work this out. If that's the case, I'm the biggest Garrett fan on the planet. But I'm thinking Garrett does not have a Pornhub channel. In which,
like, Garrett, you're not really a security loss prevention officer or whatever. That's just what you say in the beginning of your movies.
yes, exactly. So I'm hoping there's a few people that are caught under some furniture. It's a totally different search engine. All right, next.
Next, we get PETA. She has awesome tattoos. I'm sure she said more than that, but I don't think I was necessarily paying attention to anything else other than her tattoos.
She looks like a Barbie, Margot Robbie.
Yes, she does.
She definitely has Margot Robbie vibes.
100%.
I mean, there's a reason she was. I like that she's a bartender. I like that she has the tattoos. I like that she has confidence. I like all those things. If I'm casting, like, she's probably on the show.
100%. You
add in the fact that she looks like Barbie.
Yeah.
On the heels of, the Oscars and, and everything else. I'm just like, she is 100% on the show.
Yeah, she was a no-brainer for casting. Then next we get to what I'm hearing so far could be your favorite, Kelly, a psychologist, the no bullshit psychologist.
Yeah. No. Whew. I lived my life through the through the eyes of the rebels on episode 3, in which maybe I want to make a play against the what's it, the Cuddle, what are they called?
Cuddle Crew.
Cuddle Crew or Cuddle Club, one of those. Cuddle Crew.
Okay, Cuddle Crew.
If I want to make a move against, if I'm not in I would imagine I'm in the Cuddle Crew, but let's just say for argument's sake, I'm not in the Cuddle Crew, and I want to make my move. I see Kelly being a problem in executing that plan, and holy moly, was I correct?
She doesn't do herself any favors at any point in time through the first 3 episodes.
Just stay cool. Don't attract any attention. And it's almost as if someone put a siren on her, flashing lights, and lit her on fire for the next 3 hours.
It's kind of what happened, and it's part of what made premiere week great, is because in episodes 1 and 3, it was, Jess and then Kelly. They were both saved, not because the Cuddle Crew, good looking alliance, beefcakes or whatever, wanted to save, Jess or Kelly. It was more just so we need to get someone out, and we're saving them despite themselves.
Yes. I feel like just like Jess is our second victim, Kelly will be our next victim on with the Rebels.
I can't imagine she's long for the game.
No, it's one of those, you can't look away, and and I'm glad she was there for the 3 episodes, but I've got my fill.
Yeah,
I'm good.
We'll have to see how long she lasts.
Yeah, I don't. Bad gameplay. It pains me. And she, it's just like, here's the playbook. All right, well, we'll use this to start the fire. And it's just like, hey, look, there's no pages left. Fully aware that your playbook has no pages, Kelly.
And then the last main one we get, which I'm interested to see what you have to say, and more specifically, what King George has to say
Oh
about
yeah.
with him next week, is Ferris. He says he works in HR, but he's good at manipulating emotions, and he, is proud to see that he's on with his background. He's like, George is the only other representation that was really someone similar to him, but he's here to come back and do what King George couldn't: win the game.
If we had done a cast assessment, this was my winner pick.
Okay.
However, I like him. I like him a lot.
I do as well.
I don't think he has that eye of the tiger that George does. Because I was looking for another Sylvester Stallone reference, after Over the Top. There's not, we'll work our way to Demolition Man. Who knows? I like him. He just, I feel like the killer instinct is there, but it's not the cannibalistic killer instinct that King George has.
He doesn't have that, and you see it in episode 3, where I get a little worried for him, is when they're at Tribal, and he's clearly giving signs of the move that they're trying to make. And
Yeah.
I just worry about that biting him in the ass at some point.
George doesn't do like George does and doesn't. Like, he'll do it for camera, not for other people. So like when he had the key to the secret idol, he literally says during that Tribal like 8 times, the key to my success is the key to me winning. And once again, is not for anyone there but us, the viewer, and for him to make a joke at everyone's expense other than himself. So whereas, I don't, we'll see. I feel there's a huge likability with this guy, and I'm rooting for him. But at the end of these first 3 episodes, he is no longer my winner pick, even though I will be very happy if he does win.
It'd be a great story. The good news is I'm not sure if you saw in our podcast group chat, your winner picks have to go better than, unfortunately, Karen Coleman's, because it was a rough week for her.
For 10 minutes in, I'm just like, I stand corrected. This is my winner pick. We'll get there.
Yeah. And so then we have a few others that are just flashed in. I didn't write all them down. But this takes us into, we see JLP. JLP is back on our screens. It's what everyone wants.
He looks a little more svelte. It's like I feel he's more jacked but smaller.
Yes, what a man.
Yeah. So, good for him.
Yeah.
Who has the time?
So this
and who doesn't eat spam?
Loves. I can't say the last time I've had spam. Why do you have a can of it?
Because of the episode.
Did you go buy it specifically for that?
I bought it this morning.
Perfect. Of course you did.
Yeah, I bought some corned beef hash, which I actually prepared and ate for my breakfast, and then I bought this just to show on the podcast.
Are you taking it to Australia with you?
No, you're not allowed to bring foods there.
I don't know.
Frowned upon. I am bringing a few Legend T-shirts, and a whole lot of pictures to get signed, because guess what? They like it there. That's all right. Shots fired.
We go right into its reward challenge right away. The whole premise of it is they need to light the flag up the top of the totem. So they race out to a pontoon to grab fire-making fire-making supplies, bring them back to shore, light that underneath the totem, have the fire go up through the totem and burn the flag at the top.
Yeah. So, this was potentially one of the easiest
for first challenge. Yeah.
For first challenge. I mean,
even just challenges in Australian Survivor, this is one of the easiest.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't easy by a long shot, but comparatively speaking. So, no, I mean, because I felt like there was a workaround in which, you have to make the fire in the middle, but like the edge of the feet of the of the totem wasn't that hard to get like, once you kind of got the totem going, it kind of went up pretty quick. So I feel like there was a little work around there.
Yeah,
You didn't need to bring all the wood from the barge.
No, there was
as
there was
grandiose
enough.
as it looks with all of that wood and stuff. It's you don't. So.
No, there was enough wood out on the barge to light all of Samoa on fire. Like he
Yeah.
definitely didn't need all that.
So, and the fact that we had some early worry with fire making. With 12 people on each tribe, there's got to be one person that's just like, I really know what I'm doing, and that person should have the machete and the flint.
You would think so. I mean, but you see, it's even like it's Nathan for the Titans tribe.
Yeah,
he gets the fire really quickly. It's just they get it way too early.
Yeah, well, I think the problem with like maybe some of your bigger people carrying more wood and stuff is just like you can work on the fire, like a smaller person can work on the fire, and if you get it, great. If not, I'll do it when I get there. But I'm going to try to get as much wood and as many supplies up to the totem as quickly as possible before then.
Yeah, and I even thought we just see here, it's the beginning of all week, that the Titans don't work well together.
No,
because I thought that the caravan idea of not actually running all the way back and forth could have been the way to do it, but the way that they were spaced and runners going back and forth, it fell apart incredibly quick.
Yeah, too many chefs in that kitchen.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to that the individual personalities of the rebels were able to work individually but collectively.
Yeah, they worked in almost all the challenges outside of episode 3. They worked incredibly well together.
Well, they threw episode 3.
Well, yeah, that is true.
so even episode 3, they worked collectively.
So
that's all right. Our shoplift loss prevention expert, he caught that.
Well, everyone should have caught it with how obvious they made it.
Well, nothing slips past him.
Garrick, he's on top of stuff.
Safety patrol extraordinaire from grade school. He had his little orange stripe plastic vinyl thing.
Rebels win, so they get Flint. They win that first challenge. It really isn't close. They win in a blowout.
All right, so I have a thing here. So Rebels get their Flint right here, right? Mm-hmm. And then later we have the immunity, and the Titans go to tribal, and then they get their Flint at the end of episode 1. So or the end of episode, or at the end of day 2 or 3, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've seen in New Era Survivor, Jeff takes the Flint. If you all the stuff. Give these people Flint. Like, why are you taking their Flint? I mean, is it just to make up for the lack of days? Is that the equalizer? Because I don't see, it makes no sense. If the gimmick is you grab your torch, set it on fire, and when you leave with your torch, because it shows them leave with their torch. They have fire. That's not true. You leave those torches there, and you take a boat and all that. But the optics is they have fire when they leave. They should be arriving with fire where they're going.
You would think so. Who knows? I mean, you'd know better than I would. I think it is for taking the Flint. It is just to make it harder because it's a shorter game, but it's unnecessary. I mean, it's been well established that for a long time, Survivor is not a survival show. It's a social game. But I still feel like some of those parts should still be a basic fundamental. If fire is life, why are we taking away fire every other episode?
It's encouraging laziness as well. If there's no fire, they're not cooking food. They're just laying down and not using energy. They're literally doing nothing because of lack of fire. If there's fire, people are fishing. You're getting that stuff. People come back with fish. It's just like, why is there a piece of fish bigger than mine? Like all that is subtracted from the game.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great
and
point.
the survival aspect, which a lot of people used to watch the show for. And I think people still watch the show for and go, oh, I guess they just don't show that anymore. And they're like, no, they don't have fire. They like we literally heard from Chanel that she was on for 9 days, no fire, never thought about it. And I'm just like, wow. And that's why we're not getting anything tribe-wise on this new era of Survivor.
No, you're not getting that. I mean, there's also a lot of people in the new era that they couldn't make a fire if their life depended on it, which.
Well, there's one person from each tribe that does.
Yeah. It's.
I mean, I would like to think.
No, there's definitely one somewhere.
Yeah.
So. But it is nice just to see, this kind of old school aspect that Australian Survivor always brings us to every season.
Yeah.
We start off at Rebel Beach, back off. And your personal favorite thing is we're starting with Kelly, and she's hiding the fact that she's a psychologist.
Oh, okay.
Hiding professions.
It's in the playbook.
It is in the playbook. Alex is taking the lead at the camp. He's kind of helping them get everything set up, and you see that they're putting together their camp fairly quickly, especially in comparative to the Titans when we'll get there. And the last thing that I just have is Kelly's super loud, going to get on people's nerves, and viewers included. And that was an easy prediction to make.
Yeah.
We go over to Titan Beach, and this is where we get the introduction of Eden. And what a character is Eden.
Yes, I was a little disappointed. I was going to reach out to Eden, but I was just like, let me save it for, so I actually have something to say of importance when I do see him. It appears as though, much like the Jonny Fairplay playbook of voting people out using a wrestler catchphrase, we're getting a movie quote every time Eden votes someone out. So we got Hasta la Vista, baby, at the end of episode 1. I don't remember hearing a quote for episode 2, and I would like to know what it was.
Yeah, I don't have anything from him on episode, because we know that's the way that. No, because he threw his vote away in episode 2. He was part of the split that went on Nathan.
Yeah, but still, I'm sure he said something.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, so I would like to know what his movie quote was. But and then at the was it the first immunity win? Have I not entertained you, or what? The gladiator, and I'm just like,
are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? And I'm just like, wow, it's so funny because we learn from Eden in his origin story that he's basically seen every single movie there is, and he watches every single TV show, and he's just a pop culture expert, and I do see similarities in himself and him and myself. But it's funny, my fiance is watching, and she was just like, I would not be the person for him. So we got like Jessica literally sits in a room in silence sometimes, like that, that is how she is entertained. So and not much on movies and stuff. So I was like, maybe you would be like, wow, this guy has so many fascinating sayings that you're like you think they're just all original. And she was like, no, I would just think he was weird.
Okay. One of the things to Eden's credit that's great is you mentioned he says he has this huge movie background, seen every movie pretty much ever, has watched almost every single TV show, but he's not necessarily bringing it up to, nerd out, which I'm sure he does and can do very easily. But his way of looking at it is the right way of going, everyone has a favorite TV show or movie. I've seen it. That's a good way to connect with people on to start to build a relationship, which is genius.
It is 100%. It is. I think this is like the cool version of Carson, or the cool version of Cochran. Like this is nerd powers used for the power of good / evil, but for me in an entertaining way. Like, like you telling me that you have a 3D puzzle maker, I want to punch you in the face. This guy wearing a Kramer quote from Seinfeld t-shirt, I want to be his friend.
Very much so.
Sorry, folks.
The next person that we kind of go to is we go to Frankie, and we start getting a lot of Frankie because unfortunately this is her only episode. But she owns a salon. She's
peek behind the curtain. That salon, and Frankie herself cuts King George's sisters and Amazing Race partners' hair.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's her stylist.
Well, she, we obviously don't see a ton of her, but you can tell she's an absolutely impressive woman. She's a beast. She has a lot of things going for her.
Yes. I thought we found our flick replacement, and it was short-lived. So that's okay. Firefighter's still there. We're okay.
Firefighter is still there. but we just have with Frankie that she's vibing with Nathan right off the bat.
Oh yeah. I felt I was watching Love Island, especially with all the vibing.
All the vibing.
Can I take you away for a chat real quick?
She does point out very quickly, and she is correct that she likes Nathan, but she can also use him as a puppet. That was correct read.
Yes, and she will continuously take him away, him and the Mountain of a Man, for chats. So I'm guessing the Mountain of a Man will be talking about spam, but don't worry, he won't be getting any later because Mark kept that. If I'm Mark, I'm also passing out the because this is spam. This is undeniable. This is there was sardines in there. You know what sardines are. So if I'm Mark, I'm just like, I want that spam. This has everything I need to sustain right now. This is pure fat and protein. Well, let's go. Whereas that he knew, like, that can of peaches ain't doing nothing for you.
No, but he at least frames it perfectly.
Oh yeah, saying, hey, big guy, you get the big can.
Yeah, he's like, I guess I'll take this. Like, whatever. Like,
that's
what I'm stuck with.
What could be in here? who did? And truth be told, what is really in here?
No one knows.
Yes, it's roots and toots. That's what it is.
We go back to Rebel Beach, just very quickly.
Rebel scum. Oh, sorry. Every time they say rebels, I just think rebel scum.
We see from Ferris that he says sleeping is the hardest, and the only thing that I have here is I found it incredibly entertaining. Maybe it's the Australian way of talking. It isn't just that he's talking about the cuddling, and we see the early stages of the cuddle crew. It's that he keeps calling them, they're making a sandwich. They're a nice sandwich together.
Oh yeah. It gets cold at night. Rumor and innuendo, I produce a lot of heat. I was very popular in the evenings. So,
who were you the most popular with?
Rupert. Life's not fair sometimes, Dan. I got Twitter beef with Jam, and Rupert's my cuddle crew partner. I feel like I lost the Survivor lottery in so many ways.
We go back.
and I'm about to massively lose a beer drinking contest against Juicy Dave and ruin the next 2 days in Australia that I'm there.
Juicy Dave. I mean, who can beat Juicy Dave?
Mark said he had Mark Wales said he had trouble competing against Juicy Dave in beer drinking.
And Mark seems like a guy that can put him back.
Mark supposedly like top 3 of all time are Mark, Croc, and Juicy Dave, and Juicy Dave's number 1.
And if you were just, if he didn't have Juicy Dave and you knew some of his beer background and you were just, like top 3 beer drinkers, Croc and Mark make sense. Juicy Dave doesn't, but
yeah.
Just the lore of Juicy
Juicy
Dave.
Dave was dead for multiple episodes of his season and resurrected with just the thought of a IPA in his future. It's like when you get I used to have a saltwater fish tank. I had a snowflake eel, and I wake up in the morning. He had jumped out, I'd be on the floor, and he was like dried up and dead. And then I was like, not the snowflake eel. And I'd pick him up and put him in the water, and the water hit, take off, and I was like, oh, that's Juicy Dave with the mere mention of an IPA in his life.
He's just good to go.
Yes, Juicy Dave. He likes those juicy IPAs.
With that type of name, I feel like you have to.
I'm gonna go hazy. That's gonna be. I'm hoping that's his kryptonite.
Best of luck to you.
I have no chance.
No,
this
you don't.
Over before it started. This is King George versus Simon in arm wrestling.
Well, which one's going first? That way, you know what bar you have to meet. Just being like, I wanna don't get entirely blown out. But like if
that's the smart play. And when I say it's unfair when George turns that snuffed hat around and does the move and
just dominates. Yeah.
Jesus. Oh,
we go back to Titan Beach. It's day 2. It's raining.
This appears. We've seen this in Australian Survivor. There's a good beach and a bad beach, and it's been told to us by previous survivors that there's a good beach and a bad beach. I think the Rebels not only won Flint, they won the good beach, because we're not getting the same rain scenes there.
No, we don't see the rain there. Valeria, she's upset of the rain because it ruined her look. And I will.
It also chases away mosquitoes, which fuel her.
Because she's wearing that fuzzy jacket, and
that jacket was not long for this world. Like when I see it begin with the furry fake rabbit jacket and the little what's it? What do they call hot pants? These call them in the 70s, the little hot pants. Daisy Duke pleather pleather jams.
So I will say, I'll shout out Shannon Gus. Once again, you'll be with next week.
Yeah.
She put out the tweet that I thought was perfect, and especially with having you here, that it was the most impractical outfit to wear on Survivor since Lil wore the Boy Scout uniform.
Well, no, I mean, like that the Boy Scout uniform is durable material, tried and tested over the years. Yeah, I mean, this is not the outfit that she didn't go, if given any outfit in the world, I want this. That's not how this works. Production assist you in your choosing of an outfit, and they're just like, wouldn't this be fun? And she was like, yeah, it'd be fun, but not practical. And they're like, yeah, we're not giving you practical. And she's like, this is fine. But at the same time, like when I fly, I usually fly out of RDU, Raleigh Durham Airport in North Carolina, and I wear my I pick a track suit for the season that, so I got my hoodie, my soft sweatpants, and that's what and the fiance loves it when I put my hands up and, the bulge is there and all. It's a whole thing, but they're just like, oh, he's got the outfit on again. I wear the same thing every time like that. So, and for me, that's smart, cause if I get warm, I take off the hoodie, it's a very verse outfit. But I see these girls at the airports wearing these little booty shorts with oh my God, there was a girl the other day. She had these short, they were all up in there, and I think I saw everything. And I'm just like, now I know my fiance is always cold. And I know a lot of girls are sometimes cold.
Mm-hmm.
Why do they choose to fly in almost nothing?
They want to look cute.
That you want to be cute for strangers that are literally flying to different states that you will absolutely positively never see again.
Yeah, but I mean that's not uncommon. I mean, how many times do women like they dress up and they wear these high heels and they do a ton of things that are uncomfortable. But for them,
Jessica's actually more comfortable in high heels.
And some of them are, but there's a lot of people out there that it's just they prioritizing looking good over being comfortable.
Yeah. So this is so good for her. I love the outfit choice because it's so her. It's so over the top. I mean, she is, what, Miss Universe or whatever. I mean, it's appropriate to the character, and they were not going to give her, a Patagonia rain slicker.
But the good news for Valeria is she says she's found the love of her life. Yes, that is the other Queen V herself, the two V's linking up.
Okay, that's not the direction we. Well, as I said, I had perused her social media and saw that her boyfriend is a very muscular guy and member of a 80s 90s cover band.
I feel like that kind of tracks.
I feel he outkicked his coverage, but good for him.
Well, I don't think there were going to be many people that were going to be with her that weren't outkicking their coverage.
Yes. So and for the record, he seems like a really fun guy. So yeah. So I support this relationship big time. So but yeah, when she said she found the love of her life, I'm like, ooh, is the cover band guy out here? It's like, no, it's Queen Bee. I was like, oh, this could get interesting.
It's not Eden.
No, it's not. Yeah, you ever watch movies? No. Okay. We're done. My work here is done.
Good talk.
Yes. See you at the challenge. I'll be the tall one.
The other thing we get from
that's why they call me legend. just nailing these exchanges.
The other thing we get is we see that Jess has really isolated herself, kind of dug her own grave in a lot of ways, putting herself on the bottom. She says she's stressed, depressed, and lemon zest, feels like a fish out of water. And of all things, goes to everyone was clearly able to recognize that threesome of Frankie, Nathan, and Jaden. I feel like they made it incredibly obvious. She decides to throw out Frankie's name to Nathan, saying that, well, we have a lot of strong women. We can afford to get one of them because they all check the same boxes.
Yeah, for someone sitting back, not talking and analyzing, she goes to one of the three that have not stopped talking. And there's literally no shelter because these guys are just playing patty cake in the lagoon.
Yep. Well, they did have it showed earlier. It was in this segment that they had set up this makeshift shelter that, with all the rain and everyone trying to sleep on, did effectively crash in one night. So it's going well.
It's going. So, yeah. I like Jess. I like Jess a lot. I cast her 100 times on this show. So, but she did give me Wish Parvati vibes.
I like her as well. That may even be an overstatement. Like, that may be giving her too much credit.
It may. But she is not the most confident person that we've ever met on Survivor at this moment. And holy moly, does that change?
Very quickly.
It's like when you give him just that one. It's like giving Dave like a sip of a sip of porter. Like he's just become Superman. So you give Jeff a sniff, and she's going to catch a sniff. Give her a sniff of confidence, and look out, folks. We've created a monster.
Yes. Oh, yeah. It gets out of hand quickly.
Yes. It's like Anchorman. That escalated quickly. Like someone gave her a Triton.
This brings us to the immunity challenge. They're going to work together to raise a heavy crate to release a wrecking ball. We'll move it along kind of an obstacle course, take it up to a platform, and release it to knock down 3 targets.
Once again, too many chefs in the Titan kitchen. I mean, I'm guessing someone like Mark or Charles, I believe is his name.
Yeah.
They don't want to raise their hand at this point. But this was like it's just, hey, we have the guys here, they had half their guys up there waiting for. You don't need a guy to position the ball. You need the guys to raise the ball.
Yeah, if anything, maybe they were just overestimating Jaden with how strong he is, being like, oh, he'll be able to do all that on his own. that's which he essentially did have to do.
Which he did, but it's just like, you know what Jaden would prefer? 2 things. A, the spam. B, a little help.
Just a little.
And just a little spam.
Yeah, because I guess Frankie's also down there. I think Viola's still down there. So there are some muscle, but like there was no reason for Nathan to be up top.
Have you ever watched 50 First Dates?
Yes.
Yeah. Polynesians love their spam.
I didn't even think about that.
I did. So, I'm guessing he wouldn't mind a little pineapple, also based on 50 First Dates. But peaches?
The other thing that was weird, and it's
no one wants peaches except the president of the United States. The band.
Was it kind of said that everyone only got 1 can? Like, why were they not able to just share?
I'm thinking that was something we did not see.
Didn't see.
That they made an executive decision, because like I probably would have I would have put out what Mark. I would have done exactly what Mark did. That was the correct way to do it, and I would have left with spam. so if you're wondering what I would do that. If Mark is there and I see I'm not getting the spam, I come up with a plan B. It's just like, why don't we just make a big buffet?
Mm-hmm.
So I was really hoping that there was no utensil to open the cans. Because I know right towards the end of season 1 of Survivor Borneo, American Survivor Borneo, Mark Burnett put out a can in their camp, like out of nowhere, like on one of the last days. Mm-hmm. And Rudy saw it and he was like, what's it? Rudy's just like, and so he takes the machete and, and not quickly, but eventually opens the can and it's dog food.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And Mark's in the bushes laughing, and Rudy does the machete across the throat and points at Mark. Times have changed.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But I was just like, I wonder if they have it didn't appear as though they had an opener. And that, once again, spam, you're good, and the anchovies, you're good. They have built-in openers.
Well, you did see, because you saw them opening, I think it was when Jaden was getting the peaches. They did have an opener.
Yes, but you did not initially see that.
No, yeah. So you have that. So to no one's surprise, Rebels win the first immunity. It wasn't really all that close. I guess it was technically 3-2, but they were even having issues where they couldn't keep their rope straight in the pulley to even get the ball up a third time. Like, it was just a mess.
Yeah.
So leaving from the challenge, Nathan says that him and Frankie are a duo and thinks Jess is an easy target, you would think. We go back to camp, and if Jess wanted to kind of endear herself even more to the rest of the tribe that isn't really vibing or feeling her right now, she decides to point out to everyone pretty much all the errors that they made.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I was saying, so we get back to camp, and Jess, not doing herself any favors, just wants to talk about all the errors that they made.
Yeah, I don't mind the post challenge summit. However, I'm a big proponent in a captain kind of bring us together for this discussion, not the potential weak link. It's just like, hey, what do you think we did wrong? And then everyone's looking at you and they're like, well, would you like to start? And then once you're finished, can we say great chat? Because so yeah.
And yeah, so the name that's going around, we see Jess's name flying out pretty much from everyone up until it's Eden. Really has a problem with the way that Nathan's talking to him, just telling him what to do. And when he's listing the order, putting Eden all the way at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, Rupert was a big fan of doing that. Rupert would tell you your place of importance.
Well, that's nice of him.
I appreciated him doing that. I too will use that against you. Wait, so what number? So yeah, what was it? It's places of honor. They appreciate that. I'm like, some of us more than others.
So it's at this point where Eden decides he wants to flip it around. He starts talking to Mark about it. They're kind of on the same page. They bring in Kitty and Caroline, who we don't hear till later, the middle-aged mafia.
Yes.
This is really where we see them start to form.
Yes. They are those two and the Invisible Hand, my favorite of Alliance name.
Mm-hmm.
T-shirt pending.
Of course it is. And so they're trying to bring in the two Vs, and they feel like if they can bring in them, they can really flip the switch. And the only person who really doesn't pick up on the fact that this is going on is Winna, who decides that he is going to ingratiate himself with Jaden.
Yes. Winna, not so much episode 1, but later, Winna is one of my favorites on this cast.
Oh, yes. It's very good.
Well, yes. But a complete dud episode 1.
Yeah, not a good episode for him.
Yeah. Like I after seeing him later, I'm just like, you guys kind of dropped the ball here. Did you not catch that this guy is great?
Well, hopefully that just means he'll be around for a while. So, there's plenty more to come.
Okay. I'm for that.
Yeah. Takes us to tribal council. JLP calls him out for a tribe, that's feeling so good. You sure got your ass kicked in the first 2 challenges.
Yeah.
And even here, despite the fact that there's this plan in place to save Jessica, she's doing herself no help at tribal council.
She's oblivious. So
yes.
She is one of the top worst players in the history of Survivor. However, huge fan. I would cast her 1,000 out of 1,000 times.
Yeah. So
and I literally see her playing the same game in the future.
I don't think there's any change in her game.
Yeah. So like this is Emily if Emily had not seen the light.
I can see that. That makes sense.
So and I liked Emily a lot more before she did.
Well, I don't.
This is the Emily I wanted right here.
Well, Emily had more villain vibes, where I don't think Jess necessarily had that. It's just more oblivious.
Okay, it's Angelina.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
No, that works.
Angelina, an amazing villain who never saw herself as a villain.
I can get behind that. Yeah, that definitely works.
Okay. I could get behind Angelina.
And so there isn't a ton that really happens too much through.
I kid.
Through the rest of the tribal, through the rest of the tribal council, and so I guess to Jessica certainly isn't shocked, despite the fact that maybe she should be. Frankie is unfortunately voted out 8-4.
Oh, that was a death blow to the male viewing demo right there.
Yes, that one hurt.
Yep.
There was no reason for her to go that early.
No. No. Pain.
So we say goodbye to Frankie, moving on to episode 2. And Jonny Fairplay, when is the last time that you made a human pyramid? Because that's what they're doing at Rebel Beach.
I'm just happy they weren't making human centipedes. which
that was at night.
Which may be that Hobbit's idea of what's happening like day 12. That dude definitely brought a human sewing kit with him as his luxury item.
Quite possibly.
He's an odd one.
Yeah, but
so when he gets voted out, does he have to return to the Shire, or is he off on an adventure to find a ring?
It's pick your own quest.
Wow, he's his own choose your own adventure book, huh? Back to the Shire to get high. I'm not 100% natural blonde, Dan, but they do sell the ability to do it correctly.
Oh, really?
Not according to The Hobbit. Possibly the worst blonde dye job I've seen in television in 10 years.
I got nothing to add to that.
It's painful. So, and he reminds me of like a low budget Jesse, Geordie's brother.
See, to me, it doesn't have until episode 3, but I have it down in my notes. And it's when I was watching episode 3 last night. I was like, he looks like the first caddy for Happy Gilmore.
Okay. He may too have been from the Shire. Potatoes. That's what he would have liked. And boiled potatoes is what he was looking for in the jar or in the can. Is that spam? No, I'm looking for potatoes. Boiled. The little round ones. We have big ones on the Shire. Tell him, Bilbo. Oh, if we're gonna lose a Hobbit, this is the one I want gone.
That's the one.
Yeah, I need Samwise Gamgee to make it to the end. I need this guy to take a orc axe or arrow.
I can't imagine that it's not coming.
Okay, fair enough. Good. Please do not bait me with this guy.
Alex says that Kelly's getting really annoying, says that she'll talk underwater with a mouthful of marbles. and it's right at this time too, where all Kelly can do is just ogle over Alex in his Speedo.
Yeah. I will be bringing my my Speedos and getting new Speedos while I'm in Australia. And Kelly, eyes up here. Frankie,
wherever you'd like.
Well, I can't promise anything.
So, we see the intro, we go back to Rebel Beach, and this is where we get Sarah's intro package. We see her kind of hitting it off with Tobias, kind of pegs her as the surfer girl. But no, Sarah is more than that. She is a female firefighter.
Yeah.
Very badass.
Yeah, she is badass.
Yeah.
So, as I said, I think since we lost Frankie, this is our season's flick.
Yes, I could definitely see that.
So
we see her and Tobias are starting to couple up a little bit, as well as the other one would be Alex and Peta. And she just says that she really enjoys that core 4 of, I guess, the 4 hot people, and says that there are other people that are just on the outs, and shows Raymond, your favorite Hobbit friend.
Yes. Doing odd things. Like I'm just waiting for a cut to of just Raymond like punching himself in the face, and he's like, oh, nothing.
It's just what I do on Tuesdays.
Yes, yeah. Tuesday is what, and then they're like, it's Wednesday. It's like, oh, now I got to punch myself twice as hard because I missed today. he eats crayons, right? He's looking for the can of crayons. He's not. I take back the potatoes thing. Is there a can of crayons in there? I prefer multicolors because they taste different. Can't wait to meet Raymond. This is gonna be great. Hey, heard the podcast, legend. Crayons, you say? Want to have a crayon eating contest after your beer drinking contest with Juicy Dave?
For Raymond's sake, we will move on and let you do more damage to yourself later.
Yes.
We go back to Titan Beach, and this was.
I have zero desire to see Raymond's search history. Holy smokes. Friendly advice, Raymond. Private browser. I mean, well, your Dateline episode will be half as long.
Speaking of, weird search histories, we have Nathan where he's talking about Frankie, and in back-to-back, editing pulls that they pull together, says that him and Frankie were tight. He was like his little sister, but then also calls her hot and is going to miss cuddling with her. But nothing too weird, but she has a boyfriend back home.
Well, she wouldn't sleep near him, but they cuddled.
Gotcha.
There's a lot of double speak.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Sister, she's hot. Friendly advice, private browser. For some reason that Brandy Love, I feel, is one of his favorites.
yes, that tracks.
Yes, there we go. And the first Brandy Love reference in 5 years by anyone anywhere, right here.
She's due for the comeback. Poor choice of words. Got it.
Yes.
Got it. Yep.
Yep. Got it.
Moving on.
Perfect choice of words.
Well, this takes.
Do not type all of that together in your Pornhub search engine.
Well, what we do have is it's the first time that it's actually vocalized of the invisible hand.
Yes.
The alliance name between Eden and Mark.
Is that one of your favorites of all time?
It's up there. I'd have to think of favorites of all time, but it's definitely a good one.
I'm very anti Big Brother Alliance names because, once again, I feel like there's such a nerd factor that ruins a lot of these. And make no mistake about it, Eden is a nerd, but I feel he's a cool nerd.
He is. And it just goes back to show that both of them, and here I'd say specifically Mark, but it's because they are a duo. It is both of them, that they're doing a good job. That at this point, they're clearly running the tribe, but they're doing it as a way that it doesn't come off that they're running the tribe.
Yeah. And truth be told, I mean, anyone just playing in the shadow that, listen, there's an expiration date on this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Jesse may have raised her hand to, they're just like, well, wait a second. She's saying she did all this, but then all this other stuff's happening. And then it's I think Eden with the split vote is kind of adding to the expiration date on the invisible hand.
He does himself no favors, but speaking of Jess, it's hilarious here where Mark even says, he's like, it's so funny that Jess thinks that this was her plan and that she's running the show now. All right, no one likes me. Now I'm top dog.
Yeah. So what's your favorite alliance name of all time?
I don't know.
So
I'd have to think about it.
What you got? We had Wendell, Nick Wilson, Sarah Lacina, and Tony Vlachos. They were Law and Order, but CBS refused to show it because of Law and Order being an NBC franchise.
Show. Yeah.
Me and Burton were the Legion of Doom. that wasn't a good one. What was it? What was the Christian and Nick Wilson one? Nick Wilson had a bunch because he's a big Brother fan. So he had was it the Rattlers were him, Davey, and Carl.
Him and Christian was Mason Dixon.
Mason Dixon, yeah.
But you're not allowed to mention Nick Wilson anymore.
I apologize. I didn't know. Well, no. Which call Jimmy Kimmel mentioned him a couple weeks ago. Everyone mentioned him. Yeah,
that is true. His name has gotten out there quite a bit.
Yeah, and my friend Wendell. I'll be joining Wendell for the premiere of Survivor season 46 in New York City. Bryce, Wendell, and Jonny Fairplay together for the premiere. Look for information either later this week or the beginning of next week.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Brand new venue. Pretty excited.
We go into for the reward challenge. The Rebels are surprised that they voted out Frankie, which why wouldn't you be? And I forget who is it, but someone on the Rebel tribe pretty much just infers that they're dumb. Like, why would you get rid of her?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you're speaking for me and Dan.
Yes, 100%. For this reward challenge, it's essentially tug of war. You're pulling a crate across the line at your side, and you win whatever is in your crate.
Yes, and Mark was the MVP of this thing.
Yes, because he was like the caller the entire time.
Yeah, he would look whenever the other tribe would go for the gasp or the repositioning of hands. He would do the Titans would pull, they would win. So because once you get to a certain point, like they're not catching back.
Yeah, well, yeah. So round one, we have Alex and Ferris versus Jaden and Nathan. And Jaden was on that side, so I don't think they're ever losing tug of war.
No. And if they would have, this guy has to stop competitive strongman stuff.
Yes,
forever.
He does. And so Titans win round one. They get fishing gear. Round two, it is Peta and Eileen versus Caroline and Valeria. And shockingly enough, I didn't think that they'd have it, but the Titans pull it out again. I didn't see Valeria and Caroline winning it around, but
Valeria, I think is a little beast.
She definitely is.
Yeah,
she's a beast.
It's the thighs. She's got the muscle in the thighs, and that for something like that, if you get your center of gravity down, with the rope positioning stuff, that's the difference in this challenge.
She was locked in. Yeah. So they win round two. They win bananas. And I don't know who he said it to. It wasn't part of the episode, but it made me laugh because apparently Mark doesn't like a banana, but he looked at one of the women on the tribe and said, "You can have my banana." That just made me laugh.
Yes.
Round three, it's 5v5. There's a lot of them. It's Tobias, Scott, Sarah, Kitty, and Rihanna versus Jess, Mark, Viola, Kitty, and Winna. And this is the only one that the Rebels win. They win everything to make s'mores.
Yeah, that would be my least favorite of these.
I just don't know. That's why you'd want. Like, I get people love chocolate.
Oh, out there, that's all they talk about there, especially the girls.
Chocolate.
So yeah, chocolate and chocolate chip cookies is just every day. It never ends. That's all people talk about. But I personally don't have a sweet tooth, so it's just like, if we're gonna lose one, this is the one.
And for round four, they know they're competing for a tarp and a hammock. And if you wanted the big boys out there, well, you got Garrick and Raymond versus Eden and Charles.
Wow. Yeah. This was way to go, Eden.
Yeah.
I felt like I felt like he once again, it's mind over matter. He positioned himself gravity wise, to use his height as almost like a fulcrum, and that was the difference. So
So they win the tarp. We go back to Titan Beach.
That tarp is a game changer.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Keeps them dry. So we see they finally have fire set. Well, it's the first time we see it set up. And this is where we finally get some light on Winna. We see his intro package where he talks about that, he's this TikToker and also top 10 in Australia as a competitive eater. And this is where
border.
He bites into the banana and finds the idol clue.
Yeah. So did you catch his TikTok name?
I did not.
It's like Prince Poo Poo. or the Poo Poo Prince or something like that.
Perfect.
Yes. Good for him. He's ridiculously likable.
He's very likable. But I did find it funny. So he goes out, he's talking with Jaden about, he found this clue or whatever. And so we could see where it's at because it showed us, where it was at, tied to the tree. But it says in his note about, like getting it before like the current washes it away. I don't think it was going anywhere, just maybe depending upon tide. Yeah, it would be easier to get to. And his immediate thought is, I'll just go get it tomorrow. Like, whatever.
I loved it. Like, he is the epitome of a millennial that I like. So, because if this is Jonny Fairplay, it's just like, hey, you keep an eye out. I'm making a run for it. Like, I can't waste a second. Like that. That's just the Gen X mantra. And millennials is just like, go tomorrow or the next day. It'll be like, it literally said, hurry up because it could wash away. It's just like, I'll roll the dice. I mean, if it's not there, I'm sure there'll be another one.
And to top it even more, it goes to it's morning of day 5. Yeah. He's the first one up. He's tending the fire or whatever. And it isn't until slightly, into him doing all this where he's just like, oh, yeah, that's right. It'd be a good time to go get that item.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot I found a clue to a hidden immunity idol. I'm playing Survivor, but totally spaced my mind that I got that clue. And I guess I could knock this out right now. But once again, the way he's like, if this was any other quote unquote millennial, I would hate them. There is such a likability to this kid that I'm just like, all right, I'm cool with them waiting the next day. I'm cool with them almost forgetting that he had a clue. So, I mean, like, and if this kid had been on the quote unquote new era of Survivor, we're not going to get this fun, awesome story about how he's a food champion. And we're going to get how, when he was younger, he didn't have a lot of money and people picked on him. And if I were to hear that, and then for him to go, I got a clue, maybe I'll go tomorrow, or wake up and go, oh, I totally forgot I found a clue, I would want to punch this guy through his face. And that's the difference in presentation of Australian Survivor and New Era Survivor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he is so much likability, because even his next comment about it, he's like, everyone's out here talking about alliances or whatever. He's like, I have the idol. I have an alliance with the Survivor gods. And I feel like there's very few people that could say that and not come off douchey.
Yeah, and he's so likable.
He doesn't.
As I said, you give current American production the same kid to edit, they're telling a totally different story, and I hate him.
Well, thank God it's Australia, because he's great.
And I'm willing to bet money he was picked on as a kid. Who wasn't? Dan, were you picked on as a kid?
Absolutely.
And other than this, have you ever mentioned that to me ever in your entire life?
No, it doesn't come up.
Yes.
Really at all.
Yeah. So, because guess what? You're pretty successful at life right now, aren't you?
Not too bad.
Yeah. So why do you care? Like, we were all kids. We all got picked on, except for the bullies. Those are lucky ones. So, and they suck now.
Yeah, they peaked at right around age 17.
At best.
Yeah.
At best. So yeah. So I mean, it's presentation, folks. Presentation. As said, the same kid on US Survivor, I loathe this kid right here. top 3. I love him. I think maybe he might be a dud, but I'm not seeing it. It just worries me that we didn't get anything episode 1.
Yeah, well, it's happened before in Australian Survivor where unfortunately it could go either way. It could be we didn't see him a lot and we'll never see him, or it could be that, at week 3 he really starts to turn it on and he gets more airtime.
Yeah,
that's one of the good things about him is I guess we had a couple season stretch of Australian Survivor where the winner was really, it got to be pretty obvious when we're talking about like
Golden God.
Dave. Yeah. Or even as it got to be with Mark and Blood versus Water, like once it got to the end, it was pretty obvious. But we didn't see that last season, and so I'm hopeful that we're getting a similar editing style this season, where it's not going to become painfully obvious the second half of the game who's winning the game.
I think the last 2 seasons have been a little more innocuous. I mean, like Haley.
Yeah,
I don't think it was obvious that Haley won.
No, it wasn't.
And then Heroes Villains, same.
Yeah,
I did not have money on Liz.
No, definitely did not have money on Liz.
Yeah, and apparently Liz pregnant.
I did see that.
Yeah.
So you mentioned in the beginning of the podcast of being like, modern day, new era Survivor. They'd never finish, some of these immunity challenges. When you said it, I was thinking of the one that we're getting to specifically.
Oh, you're right.
Because for this one, we're racing over a high frame, which is all of them would be out right there. They're never getting over the high frame. Then you're going to crawl through a twisted net, work together to free coconuts from an overhead, net, get them down into the chute. And then once you get the coconuts down, you start shooting them into the opposing tribe's net. Whoever holds on the longest wins.
We've had the last part of the challenge, and Matt Bischoff did this challenge.
Mm-hmm.
The last part.
Yeah, we don't have the whole exhausting first part of it.
Yeah, the wowzers. Yeah, I'm sitting there watching and I'm just like, whoo. Yeah, they would still be there today.
Yeah, because it was even the Titans, like they have, and I guess Jaden wasn't there because he was already at the end holding, so he couldn't help throw people over. But the Titans in the beginning of this were struggling mightily to get over that high frame.
Yes. It was crazy.
It was getting through. And so they looked like they were in trouble at first. But honestly, I was shocked that the Rebels ended up pulling this out because you had Jaden and Viola holding the net and they had that lead from the beginning. I was kind of surprised that the Rebels ended up winning this.
Yeah, but it happened.
Well, especially because you have at some point, we haven't mentioned Kelly in a while, is that she gets yelled at because you can't throw the coconuts far enough to get into the net. And then she gets all pissy about it.
Yes. Oh, well. So, yeah, this was, as we've seen this in US Survivor. It's an amazing challenge. The beginning, I understand why it's there. I don't feel I feel like that was a lot. So, but that's just what Australian Survivor does.
It was a lot, but and maybe this could have been a little bit too much, but one of the things that I really liked about what Australian Survivor does with some of their challenges is they do take some of these more I don't want to call them old school challenges, but classic challenges that we can, remember from seeing over the years. And they put a twist on them. So it's not entirely the same. And we've seen them do it a lot over the past few seasons. Yeah. And it makes it interesting because you're like, oh, I've seen this before, but it has this added twist. So it's not the same thing I've seen before.
Yeah, but I can live with the classic throwback.
Completely fair.
Yeah.
Titan strap.
But we usually have JLP referring to the coconuts as just nuts. And he referred to them as coconuts because he's all about the innuendo, and I felt like there were so many opportunities for his innuendo here, and it's not shown.
We don't see a ton of it now.
Because I commented, like someone's just like, I'm ready for JLP's innuendo, and I was like, oh, I just thought he was legit talking about nuts and eggplants, and he liked it immediately.
Yeah, we haven't gotten a ton of those JLP zingers yet, but
Yeah.
I'd imagine they're
I
coming.
just I had to unfollow him, Australian Survivor, and Australian Survivor memes on Instagram because like we get the episode like like 3 hours later, and so they are quick to post what happened.
Yes, they are. You have to be very
So
conscious.
I will
of
be
that.
refollowing this is the second this season ends, but so actually, you know what? I'll refollow while I'm there, and then as soon as I get back on the plane, I'll unfollow again.
Yeah, you'll be in real time.
Yeah,
Huh.
I'll be in the future.
Look at you go. So yeah, Rebels win. We go back to Titan Beach. Eden and Mark want to stay under the radar. They don't want to kind of extend their reach too early. But all this changes when Nathan and Eden Nathan and Jess are talking and throw out Eden's name.
Yes.
And my favorite part of this is, so this all gets back to Mark. And Mark's whole thought of this is, hey, I can't let that happen. Eden's
That's
my
one
guy.
half of the invisible hand.
Yeah, can't let that happen. But he's also smart enough to know that he's like, I'm going to make all this work to turn the vote on Jess, but I can't let Eden know because he'll absolutely freak out.
Because he'll Kelly the situation.
Yes. And that is exactly.
Because you never want to hear your name. I'm like, oh no, please, Eden, don't.
Because it's Valeria goes up to Eden and says that Jess is throwing out his name.
But it's no big deal.
No, it's no big deal.
Relax.
He's just pacing down at the end of the beach, just losing it.
Oh, well, but that's the beauty of Eden. Like, he is losing it. However, he's losing it by himself, not setting himself on fire with a car alarm and two flare guns aiming at everyone.
Yes, he does do that, and at least
Mark talks him off the ledge.
He talks him off the ledge, and I think more is no one actually thinks that Jess has an idol, but more to appease him because it's his name going out there. They're like, that's fine. We'll split it. We'll throw votes on
because they're like, we really don't like what's his name?
Because Nathan's who they're splitting it
Nathan,
on.
yeah, they're like, we really don't like Nathan either.
Yeah.
So it was just like we prefer Jessica to go. However, if everything falls apart, we like you immensely more than Nathan. So, because Nathan doesn't look at them as sister hot.
Oh. Lucky for them.
Yes. Lucky for them and their search engines.
We go to tribal council.
They're not really related, right? Okay. There could be people watching this going, "Are you serious?" Well, yeah, lies. You can type anything.
We go to tribal council. Nathan thinks that he's on the right side of the votes this time.
I like when the son is like 35, and I'm like, what? He's older than me. Why is he living at home? And who plays a PlayStation 4? Jeez, come on.
We get back to a little bit more of Eden. He's freaking out a little bit at tribal council, but if there wasn't a way for Jess to bury her grave even more, she decides she's going to go ahead and do it. Not only does she admit that she's the mastermind that took out Frankie.
She is the invisible hand, even though she is not the invisible hand, or knows about the invisible hand. She is the visible. She is the visible hand that raises it very high for all to see.
Not only does she do that, she throws it out there again. Like, yep, I'm the one that's throwing out Eden's name as well.
Oh yes,
that was me. Make sure JLP, you're taking notes for who gets credit. Like that's
yes,
as well.
And that is spelled Jessica with a J. And I guess she thought that you get a trophy at the end of tribal council, and that was for the engravers. But shockingly, that was used by the people who cast votes. They chose to write her name instead of the trophy engravers that she was waiting to meet afterwards.
Well, you mentioned a little bit earlier that you thought, this invisible hand, it probably wasn't going to be long for the game. And I think what's really telling is it's Mark's comments here at Tribal Council, where he says the way that people are acting, that's what he's reading, and it's helping him determine who he wants to move forward with in this game. And I think from seeing Eden's kind of breakdown over this day, while it wasn't detrimental to their game, it just told Mark that I want to work with Eden now, but I don't necessarily see this going the whole way through the game.
Yeah, you never know. I think there's a bond there that if it remains mutually beneficial, it'll remain.
It'll stay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but much like Queen V and Valeria, I feel that mention is more that they will always be together. I feel is more foreboding and not gonna be the case in the future.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
I mean, just like on Pro Islands, I got $1 million that says Sandra's not win. They showed that on purpose. I think they showed Valeria saying, we will always be together. There will be nothing to tear us apart. I'm like, oh God, something's tearing them apart. So I was just like, why, Valeria, why did you doom your friendship? You can't say it, even if you really feel it. Just don't say it out loud, and it's good.
Jess ends up going here, votes 6 for her, 4 for Nathan.
Not flabbergasted. She was not. It was one of those where, like, you saw, like, internally, she just wanted, because she was so eloquent and so chatty before, and there's no. It's just like, and there's nothing. It's like, thank you. It's just like, thank you. That's what you meant. Thank you. Yeah.
Jess, you had a good 2-episode run.
She did.
It's a good
That's
2
it.
episodes.
I'd cast her 1,000 times, and I guarantee she'll do the same thing 1,000 times, which is all I need in the first 2 episodes.
Yep. Nope. She served her purpose for the season.
Yeah. So, like, as I said, like, Emily's character turn, I like America loved it. I didn't, because I liked evil Emily.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of excited when I saw the initial evolution, because I was like, ooh, we're gonna get more of her, and I really like her. But then, like, when she turned nice, I'm just like, I don't care about this.
Yeah.
So I think I could have lived with just 2 episodes of Emily being Emily.
Well, that's not New Era Survivor.
It sure isn't. So yeah, we all learn a lesson. It like, why do I feel like I'm watching an after school special? I'm waiting for the end of an episode of New Era Survivor where Jeff tells people don't vape.
It's probably coming.
Spay your cats and don't vape.
Moving on to Price is Right. Perfect. Moving on to episode 3, we have Eden. He's still panicking a little bit because his name came out, but this is the first time that we get the mention of the middle-aged mafia.
Yes. I don't love the middle-aged mafia name as much as I love the invisible hand. The invisible, because when I see Mark, I see Lex Luthor.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel Eden is another television character that I've seen before. I haven't been able to place it yet, and I'm hoping someone will. Leave it in the comments. But he does remind me of some actor of some kind, and I feel like there's an evil twinge to that actor. But yeah, so that's why I love the Invisible Hand. Is just so comic book villain,
mm-hmm.
And and the middle-aged mafia. It's like I feel like that would be like that'd be like an alliance on traitors.
It could be.
I mean, I don't need an alliance on traitors.
No, we don't.
Okay. So, it's okay. I don't hate it. Like as I said, I go get the shirt. It's available. But yeah. So what do you? I think I like Middle Age Mafia better than Cuddle Crew.
Well, I mean, the difference there is that
They're all there.
they're calling themselves the middle-aged mafia, where the Cuddle Crew was given to them by other people. Like they're not calling themselves the Cuddle Crew.
Well, aren't the best nicknames given to you though?
Well, not always.
It's like when you call a fat guy tiny.
Speaking of the Cuddle Crew, we move over to Rebel Beach, and we're getting
Rebel scum.
getting a lot of narration of PETA. And this is where, even before I knew what happened, I was like, "Oh, this can't be good."
This seems like a PETA boot episode.
Yeah. And she says, and then this was one of my favorite episodes or favorite moments, just because of how weird it was, and it's perfect Australian Survivor. Is she says there's two groups. There's the Strong Physical Alliance and then the Funky Bunch.
Yes.
And then cue right on scene, you have Kelly screaming, "We're playing Twister tonight."
Oh, I would find myself trying to like suicide dive into the fire at certain points of Kelly conversations. It's just like they're like, it's like, did Fairplay like pass out trying to make the fire? It's like, no, he ran from the beach, just dove face first, just because he could not stand her talking one more second. No, I'm just melting off my ears, guys. I'm fine.
Yeah, and it wasn't that she just yelled it once; she yelled it over and over. And
she yells everything over and over. Whoop whoop, whoop whoop, whoop whoop, whoop whoop, whoop whoop. It never ends.
Never does. Next, at this point, this is where I realized that there was someone named Kirby on the season, but we see a lot of Kirby this episode.
Yeah.
We get her intro package of saying that, she's a rugby coach, what's AFW or whatever the league is, the rugby league over there.
Yeah. I'm seeing online. I want to give credit where I want to say Shannon Gus, but maybe not. I'm seeing references to Kirby being Moana that talks.
I could see that. That makes sense.
And if that's the case, I am for it.
Well, and she talks here that like she's always thinking of strategy, and the two people that she's kind of clicking with, oddly enough, one is Garrick, the other is Ferris, but she's doing at least a good job to this point of kind of keeping herself where she has all the options on the table.
Yeah. She was just like, she goes, I feel myself clicking best with these guys. However, I am aware of the Cuddle Crew. And so I need to keep my peripheral. And then, we see a later meeting with her and the Cuddle Crew, and, they kind of extend the olive branch. And then we have a follow-up by Kirby going, so, when the cool kids want to hang out with you, you don't have to say no. I was just like, all right, here we go, Kirby. This is the player I want to see right here. Because I hate the cool kids asked me, but it was too late and blah, blah, blah. Screw that. So options are like, if you have the option of being with 3 separate alliances, they all like you equally. That's who you're in an alliance with. All 3 alliances who like you equally. If you shut off one and it's seen that you're shutting, why are you just putting it like, if that person happens to find an idol and use you're the one they're coming after because you're the one that they extend the invitation and you said screw you. So if they offer the invitation, you say yes. The answer is always yes, without being caught. Yes.
Yeah. And so Kirby is also the one that does nickname them the Cuddle Crew. That's the first time we hear it.
Okay.
In her conversation with Garrick and Ferris. Of course, she isn't saying it in the most loving way possible, but that's what makes.
But she hasn't got the invite yet.
No, it's because it's right after this that PETA approaches her about joining the Cuddle Crew.
Yes. Yeah. No, I like, as I said, I've always been a fan of Moana, but I liked Moana her first time better than the second time because we just got nothing from her character wise on the second time other than the Sith Lord Palpatine with her cloak hoodie doing nothing.
She couldn't handle losing Matt Rogers.
Well, I mean, it's a lot.
Well,
He too is a legend. Um, AFL legend, not Survivor like myself.
just ask Matt Bischoff.
Yes, true.
Next, we go to the reward challenge. Our reward challenge, they're facing off 2-on-2. It's in a cage in the water.
Yeah.
It's the first person who wins a point that gets someone from their team out of the cage.
Yes. This is the difference between US and Australian Survivor once again.
Yes.
Yeah. This someone in US Survivor would die if they did this.
Yep.
So, or it would just be so one-sided that it wouldn't even be watchable. But one of the two.
Well, yeah, definitely be one of the two.
Yeah.
So,
it would not be entertaining mixed martial arts for 12 minutes.
no, definitely not. So round one, it's Sarah and Rihanna versus Viola and Kitty, and this is essentially just Viola dominates. Like,
yes,
dead, which was really not all that surprising. Like, sure, we talked about Sarah kind of having the flick vibes or whatever, but she isn't what Viola is.
No one is.
No. Round two, we have the Jonny Fairplay special, the Battle of the Speedos.
Yes.
Nathan and Jaden versus Alex and Tobias.
Yes.
Nathan ends up winning. Let's see.
Just being fastest.
Yes, just being fastest. Round three goes to the Rebels. They finally get one. And then in round four, which you wouldn't think much of, we talked about earlier or whatever, it's Winna and Mark versus Ferris and Raymond. And everyone kind of thinks like, oh, Ferris is going to win this one.
Yeah.
And Mark's win. No,
Mark says, hold my beer. and we learn here that his lack of hair makes him dolphin-like.
I want to know if he's that good of a swimmer, which he very well could be. You could also convince me that Raymond can't swim, and that was why he got away so quickly.
Raymond saw some floating crayons. Decided, hey, snack time. Who else? No. I got a red one. He's chewing on the rope cage. Hey, it's the glossy rope, guys. Not the...
So Titans win reward. They get this food basket. Not much information is given on what's exactly in the food basket. Let's see. The only other thing I have is before we go,
it's spam.
Kelly has to ask Nathan if she's single, and then tells JLP that she only needs one night with him.
Yeah. I think he only needs one night with her.
Does he view her as a sister?
An older sister. If in the worst Survivor universe of all time, in a future episode, we see Kelly wearing that Dodger jacket, I'm going to poke my eyes out with the corner of the Spam can.
Yeah, things I don't need.
Yeah. Will you get the Cody Rhodes neck tattoo if we see that?
No, that's still not happening.
All right, we'll figure out a bet. Don't worry. All right, yeah.
So we've talked about it a lot, but this is where we go back. They're opening all the canned food. Yes. Nathan does point out that it's good for him if there's a tribe swap because I guess Kelly likes him and he seems to bond with the boys, the bros.
Oh yeah, but also everyone else is aware that these, that the potential meat tray alliance is there.
Meat tray. That's just if that may be my favorite alliance.
Okay, that's pretty good.
I love the meat
tray. It's not a compliment.
No, it's not at all.
Oh, the Spice Girls might be up there.
Oh, Spice Girls is good, yeah.
With the addition of Old Spice.
Yeah, Old Spice has to be there in order to complete it.
Old Spice is my favorite alliance member of all time.
Well, I did love, because going back to
I think
last
I'm
season,
staying with Old Spice. I got to hit him up. I think that's where
Ooh.
I'm staying.
I did like
At
because
some point.
yeah, when how Australian Survivor goes, is it makes it impossible that like you have to watch in order because the previous season is always spoiled.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It always happens. But I did love as it's going over last season or whatever. We did get the slight showing of Stevie on there, which just from all the fun we had last season.
Oh,
warmed my
yeah.
heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I have literally not. I leave tomorrow at my flight is tomorrow at 5 p.m. I'm leaving for Australia for a week. I have the only thing I have packed thus far is these pictures that they're very excited to sign. Shots fired. My passport and my Stevie glasses are the only thing I packed.
That's really all that you need.
And one pair of Speedos thus far.
Yeah, see, what else is there to pack?
I don't know. Can't bring my spam. They don't allow it.
Spam has to say.
Yes. And I did take my THC. I had THC gummies in my suitcase, and I'm just like, I probably shouldn't fly over international with a bag that says THC
Yeah, I probably would avoid that one.
and a marijuana leaf on the front of it.
We go back to Rebel Beach. This is where, I mean, you called it out earlier with how Peta mentioned. She calls herself and Alex Barbie and Ken.
Yes.
While Alex and Peta are filling water bottles, Peta's looking for an idol, and she finds one.
Yeah. Yeah. They're usually that's a good place to look. And it, took the Rebels 7 days.
They find it, yeah, and this is where she gets even more cocky about it, saying she knew that she'd find one. And
this is her first one.
This is her first one. Yep.
Yes. So, and unless she's brought back for a returning season, which I don't see in the cards, unfortunately, Peta, this is also your last one.
Unfortunately, yeah. And then
I thought she has a souvenir.
She does have a souvenir.
Yes. So.
This is then where the rest of the Cuddle crew talks about the first time we hear that it's at night, they're down at the beach, and this is where they come up with the plan of throwing the challenge because they need to get rid of Kelly.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of throwing challenges. I threw a challenge on Pro Islands. I liked it.
I'm sure you made it maybe less obvious than what the Cuddle crew does here.
I winked at the camera. And I purposely moved people out of the way, and Andrew Savage thought that I was a master strategist, and then my mind went blank. And I'm like, really? That's how you interpret this?
That's how we got it. Well, I just meant that there's at least some no one picked up on it, and maybe the rest of the tribe, other than loss prevention officer, whatever his name is, Garrick, yeah. But. I mean, the entire time, like, Peta's laughing at the immunity. Like, you can hear her laughing. You can see they're not going. But speaking of the immunity challenge, they're supposed to load heavy sacks onto a sled, move them to a high pole where they're going to use the sacks to stack them to reach a machete, use the machete to cut open a few additional sacks to get balls, and then you shoot them at a puzzle. Once the puzzle's down, recreate it.
Yeah. And the puzzle was two-sided.
It was two-sided. And we came so close to having the moment of like the Cuddle crew just losing their mind because they did everything to throw a challenge and it still may not be enough.
Yes. One piece was color backwards, right design, wrong color in one small little corner.
Because, yeah, I mean, the Titans, they go crazy. They start celebrating, thinking they're winning. JLP says they're not right, and they can't figure it out. Kirby mentions on the other side that she's able to figure it out. But
yes,
color's hard.
Color's hard. So, and maybe there's a possibility that Eden's colorblind.
It's possible.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Who knows?
Charles. I think Charles is the other one.
Yeah, it was those two.
So maybe one of the two. So I do know there was a girl I dated in 8th grade that was colorblind, and she was one of only 2 females in Virginia that was colorblind. It's typically a guy thing.
Okay. Huh, that's weird.
Yep.
My only other note for this was for the Rebels. There
Rebel
was some,
scum.
yeah, there was doing the puzzle. There was someone named Scott, and I was just like, "Who the hell is Scott?" I haven't seen him.
Yeah. This is Australian Survivor. Sometimes people are omitted.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
I feel like Scott has a Dan Spilo moment later, and they're just like we're just not gonna show him the entire time, and then like we're gonna have like a press conference during what would be tribal, and that's it. Like like a press conference where like they're like there's a new kangaroo monument going up downtown Brisbane. Let's check it out. We're cutting the ribbon on this kangaroo. This is footage from earlier last week. Channel 10 exclusive. Sorry, Scott. I don't know what you did, but we are not liking you.
But the Titans do pull it out. They win their first immunity. We go back to Rebel Beach, and Cuddle Crew says, "Hey, we pulled it off. We threw the challenge. No one noticed. We're going to go get Kelly."
Oh, Garrick noticed.
Garrick noticed. I did love that. So, because they are at least smart that they're not just talking between the four. They go back to the water well, and they're just like, "All right, like this is what we're going to do." And then it's, well, what if Kelly asks who we're voting for? And they immediately wait until Raymond walks off and like, yeah, we're going to tell her it's Raymond. Like that.
Well, like later, who did Kelly ask? We said we were voting for. Shouldn't ask. All right. Wait. Oh, I love entitlement. Entitlement is fun to watch.
Yes. And you see a lot.
It's not great for your game, but it is very enjoyable for us, the viewer.
It's enjoyable to watch. It's fun because you see then it's where Kelly finds out that, she's going to be the main target.
Yeah.
And
so what could go wrong?
Her breakdown was if she was trying to tip them off in any way possible. That's where you saw Scott again, because he's just like, "Oh, Scott, like, come hold me. Like, it'll help. Like, I'm going to lean on your shoulder. I'm pretending like I'm crying. Does it look like I'm crying?"
Oh, God. It was the most painful community theater acting I've ever seen in my life. If I'm PETA, like, before I even leave for Tribe, I'm just like, all right, I'm playing the idol. Like this, wowzers. So, but at the same time, she was so crazy. Where does this additional crazy rank on the crazy scale?
Yeah, I mean, like 2 days ago, she wanted to play Twister, and I can only imagine she also wanted to play Naked Twister. So, like, is this really that out of the blue?
No. I mean, it was a bit much. I mean, like, it's just like, oh, geez, like this is painful to watch. But like, I feel like I haven't seen too much that wasn't painful to watch when she was showcased.
Not a lot of it. And so Kirby comes up with this plan that they're going to go and vote for PETA out instead. Well, it's like her, Ferris, and Garrett come up with it. Then they throw it out. But she decides that she wants to stay in the rest of the Cuddle Crew's good graces. So they have the numbers. She's going to vote with them. That way they don't think anything of her. Smart move. Love it. Keeping options open. This is her stock is through the roof with me. As far definitely in the Rebel tribe, but as a whole. No, 100%. So I don't know if I like the idea of her joining up with Eden and Mark. Like there's part of me that's just like, oh man, how great would this be? But I feel I would like possibly more the idea of her versus Eden and Mark. I think it would be fun to see them, especially if they're not taking shots at each other right away, but how they maneuver to take out like numbers from the other side. Yeah. I think that's what I like watching the game of human chess. And I think that would be, so them working together would be catastrophic for everyone else. Yeah, it'd be bad. Yeah.
And I love this. This is a great cast, and so I want to see these pieces being moved by these great players and coming to into their own as and learning the game on the fly or using a version of the game that's not necessarily strategic to win.
Yeah, I also saw it thrown. I can't remember who it was, so I can't give credit. Someone threw it out there on Twitter that this is a good example of, like, new era Survivor. Why throw some type of theme to it? Is Titans versus Rebels, like, it's pretty arbitrary who you want to put where. You do the good casting, but you put some weird theme to it, and it enhances the season because people play into roles. They have, it's a whole storyline that's built in, which is why, like, I'll never understand why we're just Survivor number 40 blank.
Yeah. It's new era though.
So
but you're not allowed to criticize it if you've only watched like the last 6 seasons of Survivor and have no idea what good Survivor is. So, and they showcase your inability to thrive in life and get past your fucking grade school trauma. So I understand your fucking stands. But I'm someone that did overcome, and I don't give a fuck. I laugh at the bullies from 4th grade. So because I know where my life is. So, but you keep living that life and nothing ever happening and not trying to achieve anything else or learn to fucking climb a fucking ladder. You do that. I understand your pain. I get it.
Could you imagine Brandon literally doing any of these challenges? But especially just think about, it wasn't just a ladder, but
I imagine the Hobbit making fun of him.
But him doing the reward challenge from this one of, it's a rope ladder, like zero chance.
Yeah, stop. How does it taste? It tastes good, really. Got an extra crayon laying. All right.
And last tribal council was good. This one may be better.
Yes.
Especially because I feel like we get a lot more of just people talking and throwing stuff out there that they shouldn't at tribal. It's great. And where do we open it up? Oh, we open it up with your favorite Raymond saying that he has a good understanding of the game and that he likes most of the people.
Yep.
Before correcting himself.
Yes, it's true. And he does like most of the flavored, most of the colors of the crayon flavors. There's some he doesn't like. The brown ones taste like doo-doo. But sometimes he mistakenly grabs doo-doo instead of brown crayons. So there is
that. We have the highlighted tension between Alex and Kelly. Alex calls out Kelly for not helping out around camp.
Yes. But she helps out in other ways, spiritually.
Yeah, that's all spiritually.
I love a good spiritual help every now and then. Can you help me with some wood? No, I'm going to spiritually be here for you to get that wood. All right, well, spiritually get your ass further away from the fire.
What we have, PETA says that, she feels confident, but she's nervous because tribal council is a place for blindside and idols, where Ferris grins. And then he makes the comment of, sometimes he needs to, this is a good place to put people in their place and make an example out of them.
Yeah. This is the Ferris that I'm here for.
Yeah, it's perfect. And with all this going around, without saying, Alex says, if anyone has an idol and isn't feeling 100% confident, I think you should play it.
Yes. But not you, PETA. Yeah. Because I want to go back and cuddle with you later. And I feel like that idol makes you warmer. I don't know. So there's no idol play.
It's no idol play. 6 votes PETA, and then it was 3 on each Kelly and Raymond. And Alex looks like he absolutely shit a brick.
Yeah, he did. So it happens to the best of us and the most confident of us. So I get it. But this is wonderful. And next time on Survivor, there appears to be a treasure chest with lock and key. What could be in the chest?
Ferris wants to know.
Spam is my guess. Lots and lots of spam.
Lots of spam.
No stupid big cans of peaches. So
Life
there we
supply
go.
is spam. There we go.
So
that's
first
week 1.
Episodes. I love it. Who's your winner pick?
Well, prior to watching any of, like, just looking at the cast, really just like the episode 1 as they were going, I probably would have said, honestly, I think it was Valeria. Now I don't know. I think despite the fact it was only 1 episode, I think it's Kirby.
I think Kirby's up there. I'm going to go Mark.
Okay.
Just because I would like to see Mark. So let's see Mark.
No, that makes sense. Mark had a very good week 1.
Yeah. So, and Dan, where can everybody find you on the socials?
You can find me at Montchal04, and then Alex and I believe tomorrow we're coming back and doing the newest episode of the challenge, Battle for a New Champion.
Sweet. And if you're listening and not watching, you can watch at youtube.com/aftershow to listen. If you're watching and want to listen, search Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, any of those. Just search Reality After Show with Jonny Fairplay. It's available. Also, there's a Patreon with links to the episodes. Go to realitypatron.com. That's realitypatron.com. Anyone that watched all this and hasn't watched the episodes yet, what are you doing? So, but yeah, there are links to the episodes at realitypatron.com. See me live February 5th, 6th, and 7th in Australia. Go to survivortix.com.au. It's me and the King George, touring Australia with lots of my reality friends. And I would imagine you have a very good chance of seeing most of this cast at some of those parties. So, I'm at Jonny Fairplay on all the socials, no H in Johnny. And JonnyFairplay.com links to everything. My cameos. I guess my cameo Valentine's special just started today. So go to cameo.com/JonnyFairplay or just JonnyFairplay.com for links to everything. T-shirts, everything, you name it. And I'll be back. I'm gonna try to do next week's in Australia with you, Dan. We'll figure it out. So I feel like the capabilities will be there.
Perfect.
Awesome. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for watching for 2 minutes, 2 hours and 6 minutes. You're insane. So, but until next time, good day. See ya, mates from Legend.